What is a sagittal plane? Sagittal plane is any vertical plane that passes through the body, dividing the body into a right and a left half. Are we clear? So this is any vertical plane that will divide the body into right half and left half. Why it is called as sagittal plane? Because this passes parallel to the sagittal suture. What is the literal meaning of sagittal suture? Sagitta means arrow or straight, right? So this is sagittal plane. There is a modification of the sagittal plane called as mid-sagittal plane, also called as median plane. If the sagittal plane passes exactly through the center of the body and divides the body into two equal halves, two equal right and left half, it is called as mid-sagittal plane or median plane. Sagittal plane could be parallel to the mid-sagittal plane. Are we clear? Sagittal plane can divide the body into unequal right and left half. If it is dividing the body into equal and right and left half, we call it as mid-sagittal plane. Are we clear? Right. The next important plane we have is the coronal plane, right? So coronal plane is again a vertical plane which will divide the body into an anterior half and posterior half, right? This is called as coronal plane because it passes through the coronal suture. Now can you tell me what is the literal meaning of coronal suture? Sagitta means arrow. Corona refers to, remember the COVID virus? Remember the coronavirus? Why it was called so? Because its appearance is like a crown. Now where does coronal suture looking like a crown? It is not because of the appearance, but remember the crown is usually placed on this suture. Think of the beauty pageants where they place the crown, it is on the coronal suture, right? So that is why it is called as coronal suture. So any plane that passes parallel to the coronal suture, dividing the body into an anterior half and posterior half is what we call as the coronal plane, right? The third plane, the third basic plane we have is a horizontal plane. Now horizontal plane that is passing across the body, dividing the body into an upper half and a lower half is usually referred to as transverse plane. Are we clear? It can pass anywhere in the body. But if the plane is dividing the body into upper half and lower half, we call it as the transverse plane or horizontal plane. So these are the three basic planes. Apart from this, we have an oblique plane which passes at an angle to either sagittal plane or coronal plane or even horizontal plane. Done. Why we should know about the planes of the human body?